Hello and welcome to the Codex Prime podcast. I am Victor Omoayo and it is Tuesday, May 9th, 2016, and we are on episode 73.
I just put up two fingers.
Yeah, I don't know why you put up two fingers.
Well, because I'm trying to do everything with one hand.
Okay, I got you. All right. So yeah, we're back another week. Thank you all for joining us. With me to my right is my dear co-host, Carl Byrd. Byrd?
What up, Byrd? What the hell?
I don't know. How we doing, man?
Doing all right. How about you?
Yeah, pretty good. Good.
Cool.
Yeah, so this week we're going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which was last weekend's big movie release. So we're going to get into a little bit of non-spoilers and mostly spoilers for that review later on in this episode.
Spoiler alert will be coming.
Yes, indeed. So if you haven't seen it, well, just stick around. What have you been up to, man? What's new?
It's actually rather busy weekend. First off, it was our Special Olympics weekend for the regional games. So I want to give a big shout out to all my athletes. Actually, very special. Well, I wouldn't say special, but I do want to commend them because within the past few weeks, we have lost two of our athletes, and they still managed to, even though we did get rained out, unfortunately, but they still managed to show up in good spirits and just still, had a good time and enjoyed themselves and, did all they can. It was highly unfortunate that a lot of the events did get rained out. But like I said, they still came in and showed some good support. So, rest in peace to our athletes that we lost this week. Hence the ribbon that I'm wearing today's episode. And, best wishes to all of them as they move forward beyond these few losses. And other than that, Free Comic Book Day was this past weekend. We met up at Rod Coco's, was our local comic shop that shows us tons of support, and we thank them for that. And I actually did pretty good. I purchased some, and then I also ended up getting five comics. One was, I only got to read one of them because, my work schedule gets in the way of everything. So I started reading The Rift, which is, they gave a little sample. One of them is called The Rift, which is actually presented by Jeremy Renner. So it has a little time travel involved. The only thing I got about it was it started in present day. This lady and her son was just simply driving across Kansas, and next thing you know, a World War II fighter jet just crashed in front of them, and the pilot actually survived, and he's in there, hey, what's going on? Hey, Broad, is this no place for Broad for you to be around here? She's like, what are you calling Broad? Because he's still in the 40s, during World War II, so I guess chivalry wasn't that great back then. Yep. But so she's like, hey, you're in modern times, like what's going on? And it kind of just left on a cliffhanger of that. And also on the other side of that same comic, there was Kaiser Soze. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yep.
It's actually based on the character from the 1995 film, The Usual Suspects. So didn't really go into much. It was kind of like a little teaser trailer. It took place in 1986, and there's a drug deal going on, and all of a sudden Kaiser Soze just lights on fire, just lights the setting on fire. The cops show up. There's a big shootout, and he writes his name on brick wall and on fire, Kaiser Soze, and that just kind of ended with that. So that was actually recommended by a good friend of the show, Jim Savard, and I also picked up issue 4 of Hellion. So that's in stores, and I actually did pretty good. I also picked up the Street Fighter 5. Dragon Ball, an all-new Guardians of the Galaxy, and Briggsland, which I have been reading, and then also it comes with Avatar on the other side. And of course, I had to continue on with my Sons of Anarchy prequel, Briggsland, supporting Jim with Hellion issue 4, and still collecting my Marvel hip hop covers. So this Iron Fist, which is in tribute to Redman's Doctor Name 2000. Nick Fury, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., inspired by Ritz's Bobby Digital. And this Elektra Ninja Assassin, inspired by Jay-Z's American Gangster album. So that, and then also I caught the 2017 MTV Movie TV Awards. Okay. That was on this weekend. I was watching it while I was at work, so I wasn't really into it, but I ended up getting the results. Wikipedia has everything. But this year's Generation Award went to the Fast and the Furious, Victor's favorite franchise.
Really? What's the Generation Award?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But apparently, Fast and Furious did impact this generation that we live in.
I don't know why, but okay.
Come on now. Everybody from our generation, from when we were in high school till now, we were packing up in those theaters to watch those movies.
You know, I just, it's still unbelievable.
It has made a huge cultural impact on our generation.
How so? Because it made $1 billion?
Not even that. I mean, it was just, how can I say? It's just like, I don't know. In a way, everybody was touched by a Fast and the Furious movie. Everybody, like, it was a. Let me see. How can I wish I could have better prepared for it. You had to ask me why, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I don't know what a Generation Award is, so.
I honestly don't either. Maybe this whole thing's new, because it always was just the movie awards. But then this year is the first year that they combined movie and TV. But yeah, they gave the Generation Award to the Fast and Furious franchise.
Okay.
All right. But then movie of the year went out to Beauty and the Beast. Show of the year, Stranger Things. Well, definitely well deserved. I never seen Beauty and the Beast. At least the new live action. Best actor in the movie went to Emma Watson. Best actor in the show went to Millie Bobby Brown. Best comedic performance went to Lil Ray Howery for Get Out. I agree. I'm not objected to that one. I mean, I kind of wanted to be a TSA agent after watching that movie. Best hero went to Taraji P. Henson for Hidden Figures.
Okay.
Best villain went to Jeffrey Dean Morgan for The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Well, he was the only reason why I wanted to, like, he's what's keeping the franchise going at this point. Like, everybody, at this point, I'm looking forward to his scenes the most.
Yeah, I mean, Negan, he's just so one note as a villain, though. Like, I know exactly what he's all about. At this point, yeah. Yeah, that first season 7 premiere episode. Yeah, there's nothing more to him except, you know, wielding a bat and talking shit. That's it.
He's a dictator.
Yeah, he's a dictator, but there's no depth to him, no nothing. He's not a cool villain. I'm gonna say this: Negan is fucking lame. I don't know how he is in the comics, but on the television show, he's lame. He's boring. He's fucking boring. The Governor was more interesting than Negan. That's just my opinion.
You're entitled to it.
Yeah.
Moving on. Best kiss went to Ashton Sanders and Jarrell Jerome for Moonlight, and they didn't kiss at the award show. Jarrell Jerome just kind of said, "Mwah," and then kind of rubbed it on his lips as they were walking away.
Okay.
Best documentary went to the 13th. Best reality competition is RuPaul's Drag Race. Best TV host, Trevor Noah for The Daily Show. Tearjerker moment went to Jack and Randall at karate scene from And This Is Us. I actually watched that scene. It was pretty touching, and I never really watched the show really. Next Generation went to Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out, which means like best new actor. Guess that's what it's equivalent to that. Best duo, Hugh Jackman and Daphne Keane for Logan. Best American Story, Blackish. Best Fight Against the System, Hidden Figures. Best musical moment, You're the One I Want, the ensemble for Grease Live. Trending, Run the World Girls, from Channing Tatum's performance in Lip Sync Battle. Okay, that's pretty much it. It wasn't really a long show as far. It's like a secondary. Okay, this is a little show, a word show that we did because everybody knows the VMAs is MTV's real real award show.
Yeah.
So other than that, that's pretty much what I've been through. It hasn't really been much, but what about you? What the hell you been up to?
Well, I too experienced Free Comic Book Day. We both went to Rococo's this past Saturday, and I picked up 5 free comics, none of which I have on me right now. They're on that table over there, so if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go get those comics right now. Carl, you can stall and talk to our viewers for a second.
What the hell am I gonna talk about?
I don't know, this is Man of Professional, son.
Yeah, I was not prepared for this at all. Okay, he's back. That didn't take long.
Yeah. So I got 5 free comics from our dear friend Jim Savard at Rococo's. First one I got was a pretty interesting one called Malika, Warrior Queen, and this one is written by what's his name? Roye Okupe. It's like a Nigerian writer and artist. Yeah, and it's pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting fictional adventure tale. Apparently, the graphic novel is coming out with the first 7 chapters of this book coming out in June. So I might pick it up,
Nice.
to read more about it. I also got this.
It kind of looks like a black Xena warrior princess.
Sort of, kind of some elements of that historical, historical fiction.
Okay.
The second one I got is a steampunk series called Lady Mechanica, which has some fantastic artwork in it too. Which I read this whole book, this book right here, and it's a pretty interesting story. It's about this character, Lady Mechanica, who has no memory of her former life when she was raised in captivity, but she had no memory of that, and she's trying to figure out, how to go about society as a private investigator, and it takes place in this whole steampunk Victorian era inspired society, and it's a pretty cool series from what I've read so far. I actually ordered the first 3 graphic novels online, so I'll definitely get into this series more. This one is a Steam Wars Strike Leader. Apparently this is supposedly inspired by Star Wars.
I'm just by looking at it, I'm getting the feel that it was inspired by Star Wars.
Yeah, I only skimmed through it, but my first impression so far kind of looks like professional fan fiction of Star Wars, just in a steampunk setting, which I suppose is a cool concept, but I really can't say enough about it to really give any analysis about it.
You said you read all your comics. You lied to us.
I read 4 out of 5. Listen.
You're a phony! Big fat phony!
It's 4 out of 5. Who gives a shit? Anyway. And of course, I also got the DC Rebirth Wonder Woman.
Figures.
Yep. So pretty good story. Pretty good snippet of a story, I should say. Here, I got the first 2 paperbacks of this series. The DC Rebirth, I gotta say, man, I've been looking it up, and they've gotten some very good praise, for the most part.
I've been hearing. I think Maurice mentioned that a few weeks ago when he was still on the show. He was saying, indicating that a lot of the DC comics are good, except that their movies are just god awful.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Live action movies. I don't want to discredit the animated movies.
Oh yeah, the animated movies are pretty cool. It's a weird dynamic because DC is killing it on the comics front, but they're getting killed on the movie front, and it's
destroyed in the movie front.
It is, and the inverse is true for
Marvel. The image universe is beating DC.
Oh, absolutely, creatively.
They're not even really putting anything out except what, Walking Dead.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's weird because with Marvel, the inverse is true, where their movies are killing it, but their comics lately have a lot to be desired, at least among fans and critics, as far as general reviews go. Because with all the multitude of events that Marvel has had, the last couple of years alone with Secret Wars.
Yeah, it's a lot. And now there's a new one. Was it Secret Empire? Yeah, Secret Empire, which I want to get into. I've been hearing a lot. I've been hearing some good stuff about that.
Okay.
And it picks. I believe it picks up if you should get the news by now that it turns out that Captain America turns out to be a Hydra agent all along. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. I don't know.
I didn't read into it, so I can't really give an in-depth review on it. But I mean, I'm hearing, hey, Captain America's a Hydra agent. Where would that go? I'm curious.
Yeah.
So I do plan on picking that up within the next couple of weeks when I make a trip back to Roccoco's.
Indeed. Yeah. And last but not least, I got a sample issue of Alejandro Jodorowsky's famous and iconic comic graphic novel, The Inkle, which is actually pretty cool. Like it's a 26 page sampler of his 1981 graphic novel.
Okay, I'm like, that ain't a sampler. That's a damn issue.
Well, I call it a sample because like I know of the Inkle as like a whole completed work.
Yeah.
Which he did throughout the 80s, I believe. And there's also 2 other additional books which he made like in recent years. There was Before the Inkle, which is like a prequel to this, and Final Inkle, which is a sequel.
And you read them? And you read them as well?
I haven't read those, but I really want to get into the Inkle because like I heard it was like enormously influential, and it was actually it was actually inspired by what would have been Jodorowsky's version of Dune. His movie version, which never got off the ground. So he took a lot of the artistic concepts from it and applied it to this book.
Oh, okay.
So I definitely want to get into this. And he also had another book called The Meta Barons, which I want to get into as well. So yeah, these are the comics that I picked up from Free Comic Book Day. So lots of good stuff to get into. I'm definitely going to try to get into reading more graphic novels.
Me too. I fell off a long time. I fell off for a while, so I'm ready to get back into my comic book reading.
Yeah, absolutely. And besides that, I did binge watch a new show with friend of the show Jen. I did binge watch it yesterday, and I'm actually still working through the second and current season. And it's this awesome show called Underground, starring Journey Smollett-Bell. Have you seen it or heard of it?
No.
Oh man, you should get into it. It's a really cool series. It started last year in March.
Okay, so it's fairly new. Are you watching it on Netflix?
The first season's on Hulu.
Okay.
But the second one, fortunately, it's available on demand.
Okay.
And it takes place in 1857 in the antebellum South. And it stars Journey Smollett-Bell as Rosalie, who's this house slave who escapes her plantation in Macon, Georgia. And she escapes along with this other slave named Noah and 5 others.
Okay.
They're known as the Macon Seven. And so in the first season, in this 10-episode arc, you kind of see their lives on the plantation and all the struggles and trials and tribulations they have to go through. And also, there's this really weird and terrible dynamic between Rosalie's mom, named Ernestine, who's also a house slave, and Tom Macon, who's the master, the slave owner, and their relationship is just really twisted as to like the whole thing's like, how far would you go to save your child, and Rosalie's mom, Ernestine, has to go through these terrible indignities to make sure her daughter survives on the fields or in the house, I should say.
That sounds awfully sad.
It's an awfully I mean, obviously being that's based in American slavery, it is.
Yeah, no, I don't think anything's really good about that.
Oh no, but it's an amazing show with great characters. The storyline is great, especially where you see how these characters develop and how far they get on their journey. And there's this one really contemptible character which I absolutely hate on the show. This dude named Kato.
There's always one.
Yeah, he's basically the Uncle Ruckus of the show, and that he's the house nigga. And
did you really have to say all that?
No, he is a house.
Yeah. Well, okay.
He is.
You could have.
He's a house Negro. All right.
Just say N-word.
Nah.
We gotta be. Come on.
Oh, come on, man. Listen. It's based on the times of the show.
Yeah. Okay.
And
we're not in those times right now. We have.
Oh, I know that, but Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't use the word personally in real life, but we're talking about the context of the show, right? And that's exactly what he is.
All right.
And the thing is, this guy...
You could have ended it at the Uncle Ruckus of it.
Yeah, well...
But then not a lot of people who watch the Boondocks and know who Uncle Ruckus is. But
yeah, I know. He's basically...
There's other words you could have used.
Yeah, sellout motherfucker. That's what his name is.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, but
I would prefer that.
All right, fine. But this house nigga Kato, but he's a dude who's just so self-loathing, but he's such an opportunist, and he's just nakedly unashamed of being an open snake, somebody who's willing to say what he wants and do what he has to in order to get ahead and survive. And although the show doesn't make it easy to sympathize with him, even though it doesn't introduce some elements of his background and some hints as to what he may have gone through in the past. But either way, you still want to see him suffer even more than he already does, because he does make the other slaves suffer, in order just so he can survive. And he has this pretentious air about him, how he carries himself as, he's better than the rest of the slaves because, he sees himself as cultured and more just superior, and he's really not.
Sounds like a real good actor's portraying him if you hate him.
He is. I mean, he is. In fact, I'm gonna look up the actor who plays him, and the whole cast is great. Like I said, Alano Miller, yeah, he plays Kato, just a contemptible character all around.
Never heard of him.
And also, there's also another interesting character, this slave catcher who's a bounty hunter. His name is August Pullman, and he's played by Christopher Maloney, whom you all probably know from Law and Order SVU.
I like him. He's cool.
Yeah, his character is very interesting in that he's like a single father. He's raising his 11-year-old boy, and he's trying to. And his son he's starting to expose his son to the very realities of his job and life in general. And it's really interesting to see like how he navigates, being a slave catcher, but also doing what he not necessarily because he's prejudiced, but because
he has to
because he's poor and he has to raise his son. He has to get money any way he can. I will say, without any spoilers, Journey Smollett Bell, her character, I loved her. I love her performance in this show, and her.
She's a good actress.
She is a good actress, and I'm really glad that she's got a steady gig with this show, and seeing her character develop, especially in season 2, which I won't give any hints. It's very interesting seeing how far she's come, but at the same time, just how like her character is sort of like one step forward, 2 steps back, especially in the second season. And I really can't get into it without revealing any details, but you'll see what I mean if you do watch the second and current season. But one other actor I have to give credit to is in the second season is this actress Aisha Hines. Yes, Aisha Hines, who plays Harriet Tubman in the second season of Underground.
I need to see what she looks like.
She's in that. Have you seen the new Fox miniseries, Shots Fired?
I catch the last few minutes of it because I always try to rush home from work to catch Empire. Okay.
Yeah, she plays a recurring character on that show.
Oh, okay.
But she plays Harriet Tubman in this one, and in this show, man, like the last episode that I watched in this season is where she's actually speaking to this group of abolitionists about her life story and like the things that she goes through, like on the Underground Railroad, rescuing other slaves. Like the whole episode, this particular episode in the second season is dedicated to her. And this episode's called Minty, and it's where Aisha Hines as Harriet Tubman, she's actually delivering her speech to these abolitionists for a whole hour, the whole episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a one-woman play, sort of.
Oh, okay.
And it's just amazing to watch because, like, as she's getting into her experiences, like you're absorbed, you're just riveted by like her words and her performance, and it's like watching Harriet Tubman speak right there.
She looks that much like her.
Yeah, she kind of does. Like she kind of has the look and also like the demeanor and just like the whole getting into the whole headspace of that character. It was just amazing to watch, and it was so cool that I actually do want to watch that episode again just to enjoy the performance again even more. And for me, that was the best episode I've seen of Underground so far. So yeah, I could say a lot more about Underground, but then I'd have to get into spoilers. But all I gotta say is definitely check this show out. It's on WGN America,
okay.
But you can catch the first season on Hulu. If you don't have Hulu, you could watch it on Amazon, but you'd have to pay for either per episode or pay for the whole season. Or there are other ways you can watch the second season of Underworld.
Fire Stick. That's what he's trying to get at.
That's his words, not mine. There are ways to get around it, but yeah, it's an awesome show. Check it out, man. It's great. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
What about this?
Oh yeah, quick movie recommendation. I won't get into it too deeply. Definitely check out this new film called The Girl with All the Gifts. It's a zombie sci-fi thriller, directed by Colm McCarthy, and it's a film about this. It takes place in this bunker in this army facility. It takes place in London, and the main character is this girl named Melanie, who's this young child, and she's infected. However, even though she's infected and she should turn into a zombie, she actually still has the mental faculties of herself, of a normal human. So she still has her identity, her consciousness, but she also has the bloodthirst, or the flesh thirst rather, of a zombie. So there are times where she has to feed in order to stave off her hunger.
Yeah.
Or if you're around her for too long, then she'll start biting at you. So she's always like fighting her instinct.
That's the little girl who plays it?
Yeah. It's a young girl who plays it. I think. Let me look it up. It's a really cool film. It's currently on Blu-ray right now, and you can also rent the Blu-ray, which I'm currently renting from Netflix. Melanie, Senia Nanuna, yeah, I hope I pronounced that. Yeah, Senia Nanua. She plays the main character, Melanie.
Oh, okay.
And the film also stars Gemma Arterton as Helen, who's like her teacher. And Patty Considine is in it, and Glenn Close is in it as well.
Glenn Close is the only one I've heard of.
Yeah, she plays like the scientist working to find a vaccine or a cure for this whole zombie outbreak.
Oh, okay.
And the whole film's kind of like a survivalist tale, and it kind of raises interesting questions about, okay, you have this main character Melanie, who's even though she's technically a zombie, but she's also human.
So she's basically like she's like an alive zombie.
Yeah, like a living zombie. And it's like the question is, it's like, how ethical is their whole quest to survival when they're putting down other people, other zombies who don't have her gifts, if you will.
Yeah.
Also, it kind of wrestles with the question of like whose world does who does the Earth really belong to now? The zombies, people like Melanie, or should the humans fight against all odds to retake the planet? It's a really cool film. I definitely recommend checking it out. And the zombies in the film, they are of the 28 days later variety, so they are runners.
Ah, jeez.
So I know you're not the biggest fan of that. I know you're more of a traditionalist when it comes to zombie fiction, but it's a really cool film. Definitely check it out. The girl.
I'm hoping to check it out.
Yeah.
Just that I will be turned off by running zombies.
Yeah, and I think they're called hungries in the film.
Hungries.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to use zombies no more. They use the term zombies no more.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like
in Walking Dead, they're called walkers or biters or whatever. Anything but zombie. They actually do not mention the word zombie in The Walking Dead. But these are hungries. Resident Evil, do they?
I think Resident Evil. I think they do call them zombies or undead. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's a trademark thing. I don't think there's no trademark.
I don't think so either. But I think it's just. I don't know. Just. Maybe it's like some type of meme challenge. I don't know. Like
I don't know. Like maybe I guess like to be a little more creative than just say.
I would say so too.
Yeah.
In the Walking Dead comic, they say it all the time though.
Oh, zombie.
They say zombie all the time in the comics, but.
Oh, okay. Nice. So yeah, check it out. The Girl with All the Gifts.
All right. So now we gotten that out the way, let's go into our news and items of interest.
Yes.
Starting off with Game of Thrones spinoffs in development with George R.R. Martin involved. Wonder how you like that, Maurice.
George Fat Martin.
Yeah. It doesn't sound the same without him saying.
Yeah, it doesn't.
He says it with such like George Fat Martin. But yeah, HBO has closed deals with screenwriters to work on 4 potential prequel Game of Thrones series. The writers are Max Bernstein from 2014's Godzilla and Kong Skull Island, Jane Goldman from The Kingsman and Secret Service, and George R.R. Martin and Brian Helgeland from LA Confidential, and Carly Rae from Mad Men, and George Fat Martin again.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know if that's a typo if you put him twice, but And then also David
Benioff.
Benioff and D.B. Weiss will executive produce all the projects. No release dates as of yet. Why the F not? They're making money off of it. It's that's what it sounds. It sounds like a money thing.
Yeah, it definitely is. And George Martin, he's working with two of the screenwriters for these prequel series. I mean, it says 4 potential prequel series, so I don't know if they're gonna do all. Well, they are gonna do all 4, it seems, but it just reeks of overkill, like oversaturation, if you will, because the main series alone is just phenomenal.
Right.
But I think this is definitely gonna dilute the formula, if you will.
I have a feeling of that too, but yeah, I would like to see like some prequels on, like maybe how the Night's Watch came about. The game, well, we already got into some detail about Jon Snow and his mother and how Jon Snow came to be. The Targaryens, maybe even the Lannisters, Those could be, some good potential prequels that I would be interested in seeing. I know you're not necessarily a fan of prequels at all.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of prequels. Thanks a lot, Star Wars. Anyway, but I'm all about moving the needle forward. Pushing the envelope, not going back.
Understandable. Understandable, but some prequels I would like to see. Like honestly, I know you're not a fan, especially Star Wars ruined that for you. But I would like to see a Young Yoda prequel.
I mean, that does sound a little intriguing. To be honest, it does. Yeah. Because Yoda's like almost 900 years old.
Yeah, exactly. You can go back about a good 500.
Yeah, maybe go back to like the Jedi in their prime or something like that.
Exactly.
That might be pretty cool. And with these Game of Thrones spin-offs, there are 2 things. One, I hope it does explore more of the world of Game of Thrones, not just Westeros and the eastern continents. Maybe more of the known world, other places that we haven't seen before or aren't known in the series as of yet. And also, another thing too is I find it interesting that George R.R. Martin is taking the time to work on these prequels, but yet he's not finding time to work on his book. I think isn't there supposed to be 2 more books in the series?
I believe so.
Yeah, like I think,
and people have been waiting. The book readers have been waiting, and they're pissed off at us TV watchers. We spoiled. I mean, it was just so funny. I seen a meme about it. I actually had it saved in my phone for like a long time. Ever since the resurrection of Jon Snow. It's just like it showed it was like a comic, and they said, had a guy who was wearing a Game of Thrones shirt talking to somebody who was wearing a Song of Ice and Fire shirt saying, don't you spoil this for me. I know how you book readers are. Don't you spoil it for me. And then the next panel, it's the kid with the Game of Thrones shirt going, Jon Snow's still alive. And some guy the book reader is just looking at him pissed off, and I'm saying to myself like, the entertainment industry totally did that.
I mean,
he did.
I mean, hey, I gotta say, like, I do feel for fans of the books, like Maurice especially, who dedicated many years to keeping up with the literature.
He dedicated a whole episode of just ranting.
I listen to that from time to time actually.
Really?
That's actually one of my favorite non-Victor episodes.
Really?
Yeah, because like his whole...
for once, somebody else is ranting besides you.
Yeah, like the whole fact that he had like 5 ultimatums in the span of 2 minutes. That was so cool. Yeah, but yeah, Game of Thrones. I mean, if they match the quality of this current series, then I think we are in for a treat.
Fingers crossed on that.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm like I said, not the biggest fan of prequels, but again, I'm sure that many fans of the TV series will rejoice.
Oh yeah, I'm all for taking chances. So by all means, why the hell not?
Yeah, sure.
And I still would like to see a Sons of Anarchy prequel.
Okay, I still need to watch that show.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I know.
You asshole.
Listen, hey, why gotta be all that, man?
Because we had a deal.
Listen, I was gonna get into the show last weekend, right? But I had.
Yeah, you did say it, and it was documented that you would say that you would get into it last week.
Listen, it takes time to grade mad research papers. 1 and 2. I got in the underground. All right. Don't blame it on me. It ain't my fault. Life happens.
Take responsibility for your actions, sir. You could have said no. Let's do Sons of Anarchy, but nope. You wanted to watch Underground.
Next headline.
Carl is right once again.
Shut up. Next headline is apparently the controversial Netflix series 13 Reasons Why will be getting a season 2, likely coming out in 2018.
Okay, as somebody who did watch the series. Anyway, as somebody who did watch the series, I personally felt that it didn't need it.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are some unanswered questions that would require me to spoil it at this point. Do you actually plan on watching it?
I'm curious enough about it.
All right, then I'll shut up. But yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions that that us viewers would like answered. But then at the same time, I think the first season ended on such a good note that it could be just left alone, and then the second season will probably take away the heart of the first season. But then again, everything could still be connected. I'm not sure what it's gonna do, and the series is a hit, so once again, it's possibly about money.
Yeah.
So I mean, take the chance, go for it, but I personally feel that it really doesn't need it, and I'm still going to watch it because at this point I am invested into the story as well. A friend of mine, shout outs to Billy, he was telling me that he picked up the book and he started reading it. There are differences between the book and the show as that happens throughout pop culture in general. So actually, I may pick up the book, I'm not sure, but by all means, let's see what happens. If they're gonna go with this, by all means, go for it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Also,
next headline here: Edge of Tomorrow, a sequel is in the works. To which I say yes. I have the steelbook edition right there in the background here. The sequel to the criminally underrated 2014 film will be called Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat, and will once again be directed by Doug Liman, and Emily Blunt is also scheduled to return in this film. Now, have you seen Edge of Tomorrow?
I have not.
Damn it, man! You know what? I mean, I won't put this all on you, but I gotta.
You want to?
No, I won't, because mad people, for some reason, slept on this film hard when it came out 3 years ago.
It's not that I slept on it. I just didn't see it.
Well, but here's the thing, though. A lot of people, for some reason, because the trailer looked cool and the film is great, but I guess a lot of people just weren't really taken in with the whole, I guess, another Tom Cruise sci-fi actioner. Plus, maybe it's because a lot of people haven't heard of the book that it was based off of. All You Need Is Kill, which is a manga. But the first film is really cool. It's like a sci-fi version of Groundhog Day, just with more action. And I'm very curious to see how they will produce a sequel. If you haven't seen the first film, please do yourself a favor. Watch the first film, Edge of Tomorrow, or Live, Die, Repeat. It's a really cool film. If you like action, if you like sci-fi, Emily Blunt and Tom Cruise are awesome in it.
Well, Tom Cruise is a good actor altogether.
Oh, of course, and who can say no to Emily Blunt? But yo, like I said, man, I have it right here. Watch it. It's on Blu-ray. I got this fancy schmancy steelbook.
It's fanciest of packaging, just how Victor loves it.
Oh yeah. It's a great film, man, and I'm telling you, stop sleeping on this film. All right, we need to see more films like Edge of Tomorrow and less of the Transformers of the world. I mean,
you hated so strong on that trailer when we went to the movies to see that.
I really did.
Mean, if you followed us on our Instagram, I actually shot an Insta story. He didn't even notice because he completely closed his eyes.
I did. I was
when the trailer just popped up. So the F what? I mean,
I slouched in my chair when the Transformers the last night.
Yeah, the last night.
When the trailer was playing before Guardians Volume 2, I slouched in my chair so deep and I just fell asleep. I was just like...
He didn't do all that. He's over-exaggerating. But, I mean, he just...
I might as well have.
It wasn't even a bad trailer. You're just so closed-minded and set in your ways that you didn't even bother looking.
No. I've seen the trailer before, first of all, and like 2 or 3 times. But I gotta say this. Well, as far as Transformers go, listen, this is a public service announcement from Victor Omoayo at Codex Prime. Listen, all you popcorn munching mouth breather motherfuckers out there, if you stop spending your money on these motherfucking films, they will stop making more of these motherfucking films. Just don't go see them. The movies suck. Just don't go. If you don't go, you don't spend your money, they won't make any more of these movies.
I'm sure there's a good crowd that probably would disagree with you.
Well,
I enjoyed the first.
Fuck them. You know why?
My goodness.
Yeah, fuck them, because I'm gonna tell you why.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you why, because you motherfuckers will spend money on some derivative nonsense like the Transformers films. We're getting a fifth one. 5.
So what's the problem?
All those movies are exactly the same. Just loud visual noise. Just clutter. Clutter all over the screen. Shitty writing. Nondescript characters. Unmemorable characters.
Have you seen all 4 of them?
I've seen the first 2. Revenge of the Fallen was where I stopped, and that's all I needed to see. Especially with those 2 freaking Amos and Andy Step and Fidget twins from that movie. You remember them, like Mudflap and Skids, or whatever the fuck they're called. You know, fuck them. It's like a Robo Blackface is what I call them. And as far as I'm concerned, man, y'all motherfuckers would spend money on these motherfucking films, but you're not gonna spend money on some unique films like Edge of Tomorrow? Really? I mean, stop.
Go ahead, keep going. Tell them why you're mad.
Stop spending your money on the Transformers franchise. If you stop spending your money on these movies, they won't make any more of these movies. And hey, we might see more of the Edge of Tomorrows and more original creative filmmaking in the multiplexes. None of this robots in disguise bullshit.
People like that. People like to have fun.
You can have fun, but have fun.
You want people to cry in the theater, don't you?
No, it's not that. It's like you can have fun in the theaters, but have fun with unique, creative films that actually mean something, that actually have a voice, that fucking matter. None of this whole Optimus Prime, Bumblebee peeing on people nonsense. Fuck out of here, man.
That's awesome.
Shit. Oh my god. Hey, look, it's Optimus Prime. I'm Mark Wahlberg. I'm over here cashing a check. Man, fuck that shit. Come on, Marky Mark. You can do way better. You're a great actor. Do better, man. Do better for yourself, man. I know you and Michael Bay are boys. You're just collecting another paycheck. That's cool. But you know what? You've done better movies, Marky Mark. Get with the program. Do better films.
He wants to do fun movies.
You're above Transformers, bro. You're above it.
He did Ted, and you hated Ted, didn't you?
I like the first Ted.
Ted 2 was cool.
Was it cool? Was Ted 2 cool?
Yeah, it was a good one. It wasn't as good as the first one, but, you know, sequels are usually hard to follow up on. Something that we'll get into later. But,
I gotcha.
Yeah, Ted 2 was cool. This is one part, and it was like, they were celebrating about something, and they said, oh, are you thinking what let's go celebrate. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Let's go to the improv and yell out sad suggestions. And you have to YouTube the scene. Okay. YouTube the scene. Hilarious.
All right. Interesting.
All right. So, next on the list, Hellboy reboot in the works. The film has a working title of Hellboy, Rise of the Blood Queen, and Neil Marshall from The Descendant and Game of Thrones is in talks to direct. Andrew Cosby, Christopher Gola, and Hellboy creator Mike Mignola are writing the screenplay. David Harbour from Stranger Things is set to play, and Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman will not be involved in the reboot.
Have you seen the Hellboy films?
I watched them, but I didn't really pay that much attention to them. But I mean, I did like Ron Perlman as Hellboy. So I mean, sure, why not? I mean, I'm sure there's a legion of fans out there who probably will disagree because they've become so emotionally invested into Ron Perlman and Ron Perlman's portrayal of Hellboy. So, but hey, take the chance. If you can do it, if you think you can pull it off, pull it off.
Yeah, it's all about taking chances, Hollywood. And taking chances doesn't mean making more motherfucking Transformers films. But getting into the Hellboy thing, I mean, I'm actually pretty happy that they are making another Hellboy film, because for years, ever since Hellboy 2 came out, you know, fans, myself included, have been clamoring for Hellboy 3, but I guess for some reason, I guess Hellboy 2 didn't make enough money. I think it did break profit, if I remember correctly, but it didn't make as much money as the studios wanted it to. And Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman, I think they've had some trouble trying to get a third film developed.
Possibly.
And
you think maybe Ron Perlman has, like, you know, grown a little too old for the role? I mean, when did Hellboy 2 come out? 2008. Yeah, so that's 9 years ago.
Yeah, like 8 years. Is it 9 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 9. Yeah, wow, time's gone by super quick.
You know, man.
Yeah, and plus, like, Hellboy 2, I remember it came out a week before The Dark Knight, which pretty much overshadowed Hellboy 2 during that time.
Listen, The Dark Knight just overshadowed everything. I remember when I was actually doing during my pro wrestling days, we had an event. EPW had an event that Friday where The Dark Knight premiered. And it was so, I mean, people came out to the show, but it was like, we really didn't get what we had hoped for. Cause it's like, and then I remember Bob saying, well, I just learned my lesson to you know, schedule an event the day the biggest movie of the year decides to debut. That was, it was a phenomenon at the time. But definitely was. That was actually the first Blu-ray I bought, The Dark Knight.
Nice. And it's still, in my view, the greatest comic book film of all time, in my opinion.
Title to it.
But yeah, getting back to Hellboy. See, we're already overshadowing Hellboy. I mean, what does that tell you? But I will say that David Harbour, he's a very good actor.
I haven't seen him in anything before Stranger Things, and maybe I have. I just didn't know who he was. But I mean, he nailed it in Stranger Things. So I mean, give the man a chance. Yeah, I do
think it's inspired. It's an inspired choice to cast him as Hellboy. I think he'll definitely
kind of has the look, you know, the little square head that Ron Perlman also has.
Well, true, but nobody's jaw or cranium is as square as the great Ron Perlman.
Not at all.
But I think David Harbour, I think he'll be a worthy successor to Ron Perlman, who definitely made that role his own. I do wish that Hellboy 3 did get off the ground, but this is definitely the next best thing.
You know, I read somewhere that Ron Perlman actually goes to, like, children's hospitals in the Hellboy costume.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just to, like, grant wishes or whatever. Nice.
Yeah. No, good on you, Ron Perlman. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more news of this Hellboy movie as it develops. And hey, hopefully this will get more people into not only the previous two films, which are great, but also the comic series as well, which is also pretty cool too.
Yeah, I've been hearing good things about the comic series.
Yeah.
And a couple of trailers were released within the past few days. Let's start off with Aris's favorite, The Dark Tower.
Yep, with Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey being the main villain, the Man in Black, and Idris Elba as the main hero.
The gunslinger.
Yeah, you know, like, I haven't read any of the Dark Tower books, but
I haven't as well.
Yeah, so this will pretty much be my first foray into this whole Stephen King Dark Tower universe. I know Aris has waxed poetic about how great the series is.
Yes.
And if the trailer is any indication, we are definitely in for a major treat. And
Aris has posted that trailer. I'm on 3 different chats with Aris, and he has posted that trailer on all 3 of them.
Yeah.
So he's pretty. And I mean, I remember leaving the theater from where I went to see Fate and the Furious. I took the picture of the poster, and he replied so happy.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Oh yeah, and I think Dark Tower is pretty much Aris's Star Wars.
Possibly.
I think Dark Tower is to Aris as Star Wars is to me. So if that tells you something, then you know I'm very interested. I'm very looking forward to this film. It's coming out August 4th, and I don't know. I'll definitely do some research on what books I should read in the Dark Tower universe, because I know there's a graphic novel adaptation. So I don't know if I should start with that or just get into the the regular novel.
I'd say probably the novel would be the best choice.
Yeah, indeed.
You can get into greater details.
Oh yeah.
Also, set to debut on August 18th. Marvel's The Defenders will be coming out, and that trailer is fire. So,
Yes.
I mean, I think it has the potential to redeem itself from Iron Fist, even though I still found Iron Fist enjoyable, but I do understand why everybody pretty much hated it. But I think with the whole ensemble cast, I think the Iron Fist character can actually piggyback off of that, and it can probably like step up his performance much better. I've heard Luke Cage, Mike Coulter, and Finn Jones actually been like, their chemistry is actually very, very good.
Oh, nice.
So hopefully that could lead into Heroes for Hire. So as we can see, maybe since Iron Fist can't really survive too much on his own, but I think it can actually pick up with the Defenders. Show clips of Sigourney Weaver as the main villain. I didn't really get her name yet, but I'm at this point I'm so invested. I'm actually emotionally invested into the whole Defenders lineup. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's gonna happen. Hopefully, Elektra's gonna show up. Hopefully, John Bernthal's Punisher will be in there too, as well as Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk. So I'm amped up and I'm ready.
Yeah, same here. My thoughts exactly.
You still didn't watch Iron Fist though.
Yeah, I know, but
you might as well just watch it. Get the whole story in and just.
I'll watch the first 5 episodes.
Just watch the damn show.
I don't know if I want to watch the whole show.
I understand, but sometimes you gotta establish an opinion on your own instead of going by what everybody else says. I found it enjoyable, so maybe you would too. Just if you can actually get past the slow fighting scenes that they had, which was a huge flaw in it. Finn Jones is less than superb acting in it, but there's certain elements that you can still find enjoyable on the show. Okay. Me personally, I enjoyed looking out for the Easter eggs of, leading up to the Defenders, looking out for a Stan Lee cameo, which is always fun to me. But
now, question.
Yes, sir.
Do you prefer that I watch Iron Fist or start on Sons of Anarchy?
Definitely start with Sons of Anarchy first, but I would definitely choose Sons over Iron Fist. But as time goes on into the Defenders, just brush up and catch Iron Fist, because remember they all come together.
Yeah, indeed. All right, well, I will bite the bullet eventually, and I will watch Iron Fist. Yeah.
Oh, just do it.
Yeah, it's a job, and. Last but not least, we have a third big trailer that came out. The second official trailer for Blade Runner 2049, coming out October 6th.
Looks good. Did I watch the old Blade Runners movies when I was a kid? So it actually made me want to revisit the old movies. And then one thing I did notice that I got a little happy about was you can actually see an Atari symbol. And so I'm like, hey, I had an Atari. Not really old enough to remember having it, but I did play some Atari. But that looked cool. That was cool to me.
Yeah, and what's cool about this trailer is that it didn't reveal any story information.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, just some gorgeously shot imagery. And it's by the director is Denis Villeneuve, who did Sicario and Arrival, as well as Prisoners.
Okay.
So awesome choice for a director. I'm very interested in seeing Harrison Ford's character, Deckard, who was the main protagonist in the first film. I'd like to know if there's a big mystery surrounding his character, because one of the big questions ever since the film came out over 30 years ago is whether or not his character Deckard is a human or a replicant.
Yeah.
So I don't know if. I think with seeing Harrison Ford in this film, I think that answers that question. But I don't know. Maybe there's some other unexplored avenues that the film could take with that regard.
You think he's gonna kill himself off in this movie?
You know what? That's a damn good question. If this continues the trend of Harrison Ford killing off his iconic
character.
Yeah, with Han Solo in The Force Awakens. And that also reminds me, he does have another Indiana Jones film coming out in 2020, I believe.
Oh, he's trying to kill that nostalgia from all the 80s babies.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be really weird if Deckard were to die in this film. I don't know if they'll take that route, but
Could he be dropping hints that he's retiring?
Could be. I mean, hey, you know what? I'm
gonna kill off all my characters so won't anybody keep asking me to bring them back.
Hey, who knows? But hey, this is one sequel that I'm definitely looking forward to, and hopefully, I will say this. Hopefully, Hollywood won't get any ideas and try to expand Blade Runner to like a oversaturated cinematic universe.
If it sells well, they will definitely do so.
I really hope not. I mean, we're starting to see that with Alien, but just let Blade Runner be its own thing, all right? Don't Transformers it up. Don't Fast and Furious it up, all right? Just let it breathe on its own. Let it grow. Let it be its own thing.
Expanding it to a universe can help it grow. They can.
Not everything has to be a cinematic universe, though.
I agree, but it's just saying it can. How about have everybody not see the movie so it won't grow into a universe?
All right, don't do that. No, don't do that.
We'll let you be the only one.
Look, listen. Spend your money. If you spend your money on Blade Runner 2049 and other unique films like that, Hollywood would be compelled to make more unique films. So how about this? Save your money. Don't watch The Last Night of Transformers or whatever the fuck it's called. Save your money and wait until October 6th. And watch Blade Runner 2049.
Are you actually okay with people actually bootlegging and fire sticking Transformers?
Okay, all right. I'll admit. Okay, you caught me in like a ethical quandary, if you will.
Yes.
Here's the thing. I don't advocate piracy. I don't advocate bootlegging films.
I know that. That's why I asked.
So for me to say, oh yeah, bootleg these films because I don't like these filmmakers, that would be very hypocritical and specious on my part. So if you're a fan of, say, like Tyler Perry or Adam Sandler for God knows whatever reason, or Transformers,
I actually learned that Adam Sandler is coming out. Adam Sandler and Chris Rock are coming out with a good one.
Really?
Yeah, it's basically about like they play two fathers. Mm-hmm. And their kids are getting married to each other, but they don't like each other because like Adam Sandler's character is like a plumber, mm-hmm. and Chris Rock's character is like I can think of maybe a Wall Street executive or something. So I mean, mm-hmm. It touches on like race and classism and all that. It sounds like it could be a nice little wholesome comedy that Victor will hate strongly.
I mean, it's Adam Sandler, so it doesn't give me any hope to begin with, but. But yeah, like I said, if you're gonna see Transformers, then yeah, don't bootleg it, But I will tell you, see other films, see better films.
I'm sure people will see other films too, but we just like to see people like to see Transformers.
Because they don't know any better. But listen,
why do they have to do all that? People just want to be entertained and just have fun. Hey, let's go and see this fun movie.
You can be entertained, but don't sacrifice quality. Don't check your brain at the door. Watch something that actually matters. Shit, fuck these movies. Transformers doesn't fucking matter. This Transformers is popcorn. It's fast food. It's fast food, man.
Okay, people like fast food. Some people just want to have some fast food. Yeah, I don't want to have a full course meal every time. I'll take a fucking Big Mac every once in a blue moon.
Yeah, well, when you die of a triple fucking bypass heart attack or whatever it's called, you deserve it. But anyway, like I said, you know what? Don't bootleg movies. Don't do that piracy thing. But with that being said, save your money. Don't see Transformers. Or if anything, if you want to see Transformers, just wait till it comes out at Redbox and just rent it. That way you give less money to the studios. I don't know.
Potato, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But
anyways.
Yeah.
On to the main event.
Yes, the main event, the showstopper, the headliner, the icon, the main event of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which is the biggest release this past weekend. You know what? Carl, why don't you bless us with a Carl Byrd summary?
Oh,
tell
man.
us
Okay.
what this film is about.
Okay, the plot basically, it actually explores Peter Quill's heritage. Mm-hmm. Okay, it revolves around Peter Quill end up finding his father, Ego, which is played by Kurt Russell, and he throughout the movie he pretty much learns about his heritage, where he comes from. Like, obviously he knew about growing up with his mother and stuff, but then he never knew anything about his father. Mm-hmm. So and now that whole story comes a full circle for him.
Indeed. And also
was that for a fucking Carl summary?
Yeah, that was very good, man. All right, I'm gonna clap it up. You didn't stumble. It was pretty clear. Yeah, that's an improvement. But yes, Guardians 2, it is also the 15th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, a lot of you can catch it. I actually plan on buying all the MCU films on Blu-ray, and I got a lot.
Yeah.
I don't own any.
Really? You don't own any of the films?
Nah, I never. For a period of time, I just stopped buying DVDs.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Shame on you. But
sorry, other shit to spend money on.
Yeah, like the Transformers movies. But
I actually haven't seen a Transformers movie since the third one.
Good. Keep it that way. But yeah, Guardians 2, man. It's also written and directed by James Gunn, once again, who directed the 2014 hit. And before we get into it, this review will contain spoilers. So I will say that I'll hold off on my opinion. Yeah.
You want to hold off? I enjoyed it. I felt that it was a filler episode, like a filler episode of the MCU. That is straight away from the build up to the big huge fight to Infinity Wars with Thanos. Thanos, I don't even think he was mentioned, but he wasn't in it. But it just seemed like a filler episode, like a little side story of learning Peter Quill's heritage. But I still found it enjoyable. It was more comedic than action. Than action filled, but I got my good laughs, and I still felt that I got my money's worth.
Okay, yeah, I expected this movie to kind of be exactly like the first film, also in terms of quality and the story structure. I came away from Volume 2 rather disappointed. It's not a terrible film. It's not DCEU awful, so which is a plus. However, the movie did leave me wanting. It does have some entertaining bits throughout, but I felt that the first film was far superior in terms of quality and entertainment value. I felt like this story didn't. It like you said, it's a filler episode. Yeah. I felt like the characters are pretty much jogging in place. There was no, apart from Peter Quill and also to a certain extent Gamora. There wasn't any real development. Slight progression with
Gamora.
Yeah,
we'll get that to the spoiler section.
Yeah, like besides her, like there wasn't really any real development with the rest of the characters. Besides another one.
Some of the new ones that came in, like I said, we'll get to that in the spoiler section.
Yeah, so we'll get into that in spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, and if you still want to see it, definitely skip ahead in this episode to avoid our spoiler-filled review, which will commence in just a few seconds. But in my opinion, overall, before we get into it, like I said, definitely not the MCU's finest hour with this film, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse.
So, ready to spoil?
Yes, let's spoil Volume 2.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, spoilers.
All right, so the film begins, I will say, with a rather I wouldn't say inspired, but I will say that one of my biggest issues with Guardians 2 is that I guess writer-director James Gunn kind of felt compelled to turn up the notch, turn up the heat on many of the elements that were a hit in the first film, like the humor and the music as well. I felt like the film was a little overkill in terms of the humor and the music and those two aspects, because it felt like it was just beating you over the head. It's like, oh, look how funny we are. Hey, we got you like the big bright colors of the first film? Hey, we got bigger, brighter colors in this film. You like the music? You like the 70s and 80s hits? Guess what? We got more 70s and 80s hits for you to listen to. And it's like, oh, did you like the jokes and the quips from the first film? You got even more jokes and quips. We got
good ones. There was some good ones. Oh my God, Taserface was hilarious.
Yeah, but
like Brad, I mean, that like I'm listening to that. And I'm just listening to the Taserface. The Taserface, right?
Yeah, it was Taserface. Really. Yeah.
But I'm listening to that, and then next thing, it was funny too. The Hangover was on like the next day. I caught it on TV, and I'm just sitting there like, wow, that was Bradley Cooper, like all the way. It was freaking hilarious. Yeah. And then what was funny too, and when he was talking to I believe it was Aisha that he was talking to, and he's like, tell him it's from Taserface, and then Aisha goes,
oh yeah. Yeah, like
nice little running gag.
Yeah, there were running gags throughout this film. I do feel like the humor in this film, while it did land for the most part, I felt like there was too much of it in the sense that it did undercut many of the serious scenes that they had, serious moments throughout. Because even like they like, I felt like the film was afraid of letting those serious moments hang. Like it felt like, oh yeah, we got this genuinely emotional moment between like two characters, so why don't we just throw a quick joke in there so we can like lighten it up a little bit. And it felt a bit much. Like I felt like Drax was pretty overbearing in this film.
He showed a little more personality than the first one. I will give him that.
Yeah, he does.
Batista's developing slowly, but eventually, and I'm saying it's a long eventually, surely.
Yeah. Like Batista, nothing against Batista's performance, because Batista he's awesome as Drax.
Yeah, he nails it. He has the look and just.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he was perfect casting for Drax. Like
absolutely, and Drax is a character who his species, they don't understand sarcasm. They take everything literally, and so you kind of see a bit more of that in this film, and you kind of see Drax lightening up a bit, but also. I did. I'm sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
I did like his chemistry with Mantis though.
Yeah,
that was pretty he was and the actress who played Mantis was actually beautiful, and he's like, no, you are ugly.
Oh yeah,
you are just an ugly shit.
Oh yeah, Mantis is essentially Kurt Russell Ego's pet, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mantis is a character who has the ability to read and understand people's emotions by touching them.
Yeah.
And also experiencing their emotions in that way as well. And I think with getting back to Drax, I felt like he wasn't really needed in this film, because he really didn't do anything of note.
He didn't.
In this movie.
He didn't. He just there. Yeah, he
like every few seconds, it's like every other scene, Drax would like ha 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 ha, just like laugh boisterously. It's like ha 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 ha. I laugh at jokes because that's my character. I take things literally. Ha ha ha. And it got annoying really quickly after a while. It got a little overbearing.
I didn't let it annoy me. I was still entertained by the whole thing.
Yeah, but I felt like Drax really was kind of wasted in here. Like he wasn't. If you took him out, then the film.
Yeah, you wouldn't have missed him.
Yeah, you wouldn't have missed him. It wouldn't have made any difference to the overall plot. And
right.
And speaking of which, I felt like the first 45 minutes of this film was really unfocused. Like it felt like the first hour roughly was really meandering. Like as I was watching the film, I was like, okay, I'm not really following where exactly this film is going. Like what's the purpose of these characters here? What exactly are they doing? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing the things that they're doing? It's like the film didn't really have a real clear sense of direction for a large part of the first half, and which really took me out of it a bit.
Yeah, it was definitely like how you said earlier. It was just Guardians of the Galaxy just kind of running, just kind of jogging in place. They were on a treadmill.
Yeah, so it kind of felt like a sitcom in space, like you're hanging out with your homeboys in outer space, kind of.
How did you asshole? I was really just gonna say that.
Oh man, you see what I did there?
Kids, Google homeboys in outer space.
Oh my god, what a terrible show.
It was.
Jesus. You know what? I won't be surprised if we see a Homeboys in Outer Space.
Oh my god, yeah, I wouldn't be. Oh my god, that was bad.
The
sad part is I watched it every week for like the few episodes that it did have. Oh my god.
Yeah. But yeah.
Flex Alexander. I'm so glad you got a hit with one-on-one.
But but this film kind of felt like you were just hanging out with your boys, like for most of it. So it kind of felt like a sitcom in that way. You know, pretty aimless. And I will say this though, and I know this might engender a bit of controversy among our viewers and listeners, as well as fans of the MCU. But I dislike Baby Groot.
I knew you was gonna take a shot at Baby Groot,
and here's why. Baby
Groot. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Yeah. Baby Groot was simply just to sell toys.
Yes, that was my biggest issue with it. Like, especially with the opening credits. The opening credits, like, almost literally shoved Baby Groot in your face.
Yeah, it did. It did. They gave us the Roman Reigns up for Baby Groot.
Yes, it did. It just.
I mean, I still find him. I found him a little funny and entertaining, but they pushed Baby Groot better than they did Roman Reigns. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah.
Because we don't hate Baby Groot.
Well, that's debatable. I
didn't say we didn't. I mean, Baby Groot was entertaining.
Yeah, but
I don't think we hate. I wouldn't necessarily. I wouldn't consider Baby Groot an enemy, like I consider Roman Reigns an enemy.
Right. I mean, he didn't. I mean, Baby Groot didn't end.
I swear to God, if you say something out of line.
I know. Like Baby Groot, he did not conquer Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania 30 and defeat him again at 33. But I mean,
I'll take that.
I mean, I will say that Baby Groot, he was like the Undertaker in the sense that like he kind of overstayed his welcome. It's like, go home.
Undertaker did not overstay his welcome. That man is a legend. You do not disrespect the God amongst men.
He is a legend, but you gotta admit.
You didn't know he did not?
At WrestleMania 33 was like, go home, Grandpa. You're tired.
No, he wasn't. I said, nope, I was out.
It's like, you need a blanket.
We're getting off subject.
But yeah, like the opening credits, like it literally shoves Baby Groot in your face. It was clearly a commercial to sell Baby Groot action figures, especially those vinyl pop figures of Baby Groot, which I'm sure will fly off the shelves. That stupid fad. Ugh. But man, like I just felt like it was just crass commercialism.
Yeah.
It was like Space Jam all over again in that sense. But yeah, like Baby Groot I thought was a little overbearing. I also felt like
Gamora actually progressed a bit, with her going more deep into detail with her estranged relationship with Nebula.
Yeah.
And then eventually that ended up, healing. So I guess Nebula is now part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think they also. I also felt that they pushed Yondu's character even more, saying that going more into depth with his relationship with Peter Quill and how he basically raised him. And I mean, the whole David Hasselhoff was a little comparison was a bit funny.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
Wasn't too much. I wasn't too keen on the soundtrack this much. Maybe because I didn't know most of the songs.
Well, for me, it wasn't so much that, but like the songs were fine.
I mean, they fit the film, but I wasn't really too sold on the soundtrack too much.
Yeah, I think like this film was like the use of the 70s and 80s hits was just as overbearing. It kind of reminded me of Suicide Squad in that way. Like it was just like throwing those wave after wave of those 80s and 70s hits in your face. Like yeah, we get it.
Peter used Designer and. Weird. Would you like them to use guys like Designer and Little Yachty and Little Uzi Vert and Migos?
Well, no. That would be worse. But it was like okay, I get it. Peter Quill is a child of the '80s. Got it. It's like you don't have to shove that in our faces all the time. But it kind of felt like Suicide Squad in that sense where it was just beating you over the head with those musical choices. It's like come on James Gunn, just slow it down. You're not Quentin Tarantino. You don't have to use popular hits. But besides that, I will say that with Gamora and Nebula, I thought there was some interesting I thought their storyline developed further, where you learn more about how Gamora was always the favored one, favored daughter of Thanos, and at the expense of Nebula, to the point where Nebula was physically and mentally tortured. Like, she even had her brain ripped out by Thanos at one point. But and it kind of makes it kind of humanizes Nebula a bit more, which I did appreciate. But one thing that I didn't like about that is, and it's not so much about Nebula and Gamora, but it's also indicative of a bigger problem where, again, with Thanos, it's like tell, don't show. It's like you're giving us a lot of telling about how big and bad Thanos supposedly is.
Yeah, maybe like a little flashback scene could have helped that a bit. Mm-hmm. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah, and maybe, I don't know, maybe have Thanos be a much more influential, have some kind of impact, tangible impact on the story of this film, so you can kind of build him up more.
Yeah.
Because like I said, pointing out before, like the whole buildup of Thanos is non-existent pretty much. So
maybe in this film, yeah.
Yeah. But I did like where their story was going. So I think that is a positive. There could have been a little bit more with that. But I will say that unequivocally, the best aspect of this movie, in my view, was Michael Rooker as Yondu, who was just hands down.
He nails that character, so
yeah, he was just so awesome.
He does.
Yeah, he's
from what I hear too, Michael Rooker is just an awesome human being in general.
Yeah, like
he was like such a dick in Walking Dead.
Yeah, he was. He's kind of like Yondu is sort of like, he has elements of Merle. Merle in space. Just
that's cool. I think that's probably because that's how audiences know him as. Mm-hmm. Like, I haven't really seen much of him before until before Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. And he was in he did a voiceover in Call of Duty, one of the Black Ops, I believe.
Okay.
It was no, it had to been Modern Warfare 2, I believe.
Okay.
One of the Call of Duty's games, but he did some voiceover work, but yeah, so it's like, okay, he's identified with it, with this as this past character. Let's keep give him a fresh new character, but yet still doing some elements of Merle Dixon. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I think it worked.
It did, and I also liked how you get to see a little bit more of Yondu. He's not just this space pirate ruffian. Yeah. Like you also saw a little more development between, especially with him and Rocket Raccoon. Like
that shit was hilarious.
Yeah.
They're awesome chemistry. Awesome chemistry. How Yondu literally just broke down Rocket and he said, "Oh, you want to know why you're such an asshole? Because he just broke him and he just read him."
Yep. He said that you're basically me. Yeah.
He's like, oh, well, screw you then. Like, so.
Yeah, and Rocket Raccoon, like I will say with Raccoon, I thought I thought it was too much of a dick to the point of being pretty unlikable in this movie. But
he's kind of but that's kind of is pretty much who he is.
Which I know.
He's
but
a unlikable person, if you catch my drift.
Yeah, he's a likable asshole. Like you kind of see that.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was balanced well in the first film. This film, I didn't think it was balanced that well. Like it was to the point where like every time Rocket Raccoon was just being a dick to people, it got a little too much. Like I was like, all right, somebody needs to either slap you or put a hole in your head. But
I think they tried.
Yeah, but
you mean to tell me you did not like the Taserface scene?
That was funny. I mean, although I thought the joke ran a little too long, but one gag that I thought ran a little too long was with Baby Groot. When Yondu and Raccoon are trapped in the Ravager's cell.
They tried to get him to get the Mohawk, and he just couldn't, and Baby Groot couldn't get it right.
Yeah, like he was coming back like 5-6 times. I thought that gag ran a little long. And but besides that, I really liked not only Yondu's relationship with Raccoon, but I also liked his relationship with the Peter Quill.
Yeah.
And how basically they kind of, because a big theme of this film was fathers and sons. Right. And not only you see that with Quill and Ego, but you also see that more with Yondu. And
you learn about it more because we knew Yondu took him as a child and just trained him to be a thief, a galactic thief. Mm-hmm. But we never really got to know that we never really got a chance to see how much deeper their relationship really was. And
it was cool because like you got to realize, especially when you realize with Kurt Russell's character, like why you learn why Yondu not only kidnapped Peter Quill, but you also learn why he didn't return Peter Quill to his father. And you kind of see, like, you know, 'cause I think Yondu had a really good line. He said that when he was talking about Ego, he said that he may be your father, but he ain't your daddy. Yeah, I was like, that's a good point. But Michael Rooker, he was just so awesome in this film, and I
would have loved to see him in more Guardians films, but unfortunately they killed him off.
Yeah,
in such a heartbreaking way where Victor cried.
I didn't cry, but I actually felt a little emotional inside. But I especially loved the best moment. The best moment before that was when he said, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all."
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was
He's
so
like, "Who's Mary Poppins? Is she cool?"
It's like he goes, "Is he cool?" And then Peter Quill's like, "Yeah, he's cool." He goes, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all."
I think I seen somebody make a meme out of that.
Oh, I bet. But yeah, like with when Yondu sacrificed himself to save his adopted son, and that was genuinely emotional. I was like, okay, yeah, this is a genuine death that we see in the MCU. Granted, it's not any of the main characters, but it's a key character nonetheless.
Yeah, you felt it a bit.
Yeah, so I definitely appreciated the send-off that the rest of the Ravagers gave him as well.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. And then there was some surprising casting. Like I completely forgot that Sylvester Stallone was gonna make a cameo in it. I actually learned Miley Cyrus did a voice.
Oh, really?
In the movie, I forgot where. And obviously Seth Green reprised his role as Howard the Duck in a couple of scenes. You got your Stan Lee cameos. Can't do a Marvel movie without those.
Oh, I will say this is the
two cameos at that.
Yeah, I will say this is, in my view, this is probably the best Stan Lee cameo I've seen yet. Because,
really?
In my view, because like it's not just Stan Lee, but I see a brief scene where he's actually talking with the Watchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought, oh, good. This is our first glimpse of the Watchers in the MCU.
Oh, Tony Stank was a good one.
That was also a really good, really funny one too. Yeah. But that also brings up many so-called fan theories. And if anyone knows me, I hate fan theories. But
I like 'em.
But fan theories that Stan Lee is probably a Watcher because of if you link all his cameos in the MCU films, that he's probably one of the Watchers or a de facto Watcher per se, which is like, come on, no, let's not get into.
I don't think that's the case. Yeah. It's just Stan Lee just being Stan Lee, and everybody loves his cameos.
Oh, absolutely, we all do. The man's a living legend.
Yeah.
And also, speaking of surprising cameos, we did see two more with Michelle Yeoh, who was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, if you remember, and also Ving Rhames.
Yeah, Ving Rhames too. Melvin from Baby Boy.
Yes. Oh my god.
That was a good one. I actually hope he's in the next. I hope he's in the next Guardians.
Yeah, I mean that'd be cool. I mean, because Ving Rhames, I mean he's
a cool actor.
Yeah, I'm glad that he's still putting in work. You know, not just in the Mission Impossible films too.
Yeah. Well, he's doing the Arby's commercials.
Oh yeah, that too. Oh really? That's him?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh yeah, get that bang, Ving Rhames. That's what's up.
So and then the post-credit scene that I was like actually really happy about. I'm not sure if you remember, but in one of our past episodes, one of our questions of the week is who was an MCU character that you were looking forward to see, that you were hoping you would see that they haven't introduced yet. And they dropped a little teaser, a little Easter egg where they showed a cocoon being baked, and Aisha says, "We shall name him Adam."
Yes.
Leading up to Adam Warlock.
Yeah, and Aisha, she's like one of the leaders of that gold-skinned race, the Sovereign. And
she's a freak.
Yeah.
She can be MCU's next freak.
Okay, freak, okay. All right.
Peter Quill flirting with her a little bit. That was and then Gamora gives her that look. He goes, "Oh, no, I wasn't getting at that." We all know you were. Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, with the Sovereign in this film, like, I thought they were what they were. I mean, I didn't see him as a credible threat.
Not necessarily.
But with the Adam Warlock thing, it does put a potential plot hole, because we did see Adam Warlock as like one of the Easter eggs in the first Guardians, as one of the collector's trophies.
Right.
So I don't know. It's just a little weird to me that they would introduce Adam Warlock in that fashion. But
as long as they ask him, I'm curious of who's gonna portray him. I mean, I remember when I was talking after while we were eating after the movie, he said maybe Charlie Hunnam. Maybe. You jack up Matthew McConaughey again. He has the face of Adam Warlock. So.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a no-namer.
Yeah, possibly. And I will say that getting back a little bit, one of the big flaws about this film too is that just like the majority of the MCU films, it all culminates in a big, ginormous CG-filled light show. Basically, just full of lasers, and then ego.
If you are unhappy with that, why don't you just take your ass on to the DCEU?
Ego.
What do you want? What do you want? You want lights or DC? You want Marvel lights or DCEU darkness?
No, the choice doesn't boil to just that. I just want some different shit. I just want something really different and unique. But
I think you may get it in Black Panther. You may get what you're looking for in Black Panther. I think
they're gonna end it in a light show too, just like all the others. I know it, but with this film, in the finale, Ego reveals to Peter Quill that he's basically impregnated many people, many women throughout the galaxy.
Oh yeah, he went through his whole phase.
Yeah, he went through his whole phase, and apparently none of the children that he sired lived up to his potential. So then he killed them all, and then that's where Gamora and Nebula discovered his cavern full of skeletons and corpses of his children, and Peter Quill was his child that could tap into Ego's planet to tap into Peter Quill's true powers. And so Peter Quill says, "No, I don't want those powers. I want to be human." And then that's how it culminates into that huge, climactic action scene where Ego, the planet, is imploding, and they have to destroy Ego before it's too late. And the finale was just like every other MCU light show in that CG light show in that respect. So there was no real suspense. I will say the one gag that made me chuckle was when Peter Quill transformed into that stone Pac-Man.
Oh yeah.
When he was going after Kurt Russell's Ego, and I mean,
which he did to indicate, he goes, "I can turn into Pac-Man."
Yeah. So which I thought was pretty. It got a chuckle out of me, but I thought that the climactic action scene it just didn't do anything for me, because it was like, okay, clearly none of the Guardians, they're all going to survive. And also James Gunn did announce Volume 3 before Volume 2 even came out in theaters. So it's like, this is basically so this really reinforced the notion that this film really was running in place.
Yeah.
That it really wasn't pushing the
yeah, but other movies were like that as well too.
But because when you, I thought that it was kind of like a missed opportunity. I don't know how you feel about this, because when you have a character like Ego, who's basically a living planet, who has all this immense power that Peter Quill could tap into, and he could be a greater character himself too. The fact that they defeat Ego, such a monumental enemy, and then it's back to normal. So much for that. It kind of felt like a sitcom where they solved the major threat, and then it's like business as usual status quo. I don't know. It just felt a little hollow to me.
It was a filler episode.
Yeah. So overall, where would you rank the Guardians Volume 2 in terms of quality?
I can't necessarily rank it because I never actually did a whole this is my first favorite, second favorite, third favorite. So I wouldn't consider it as one of my top favorites. I know one of my top favorites is definitely Civil War, but I don't know. I can't really say. I literally would have to watch them all over again in order, and actually maybe after Infinity Wars I can actually break it down and actually rank them. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be able to do that right now, but I wouldn't consider it one of my favorites. Okay.
Yeah. For me, I would put Guardians Volume 2 in the same drawer as Iron Man 2 and Thor: The Dark World. In terms of,
I was gonna say Doctor Strange, but
no, Doctor Strange was better than Guardians 2.
Okay.
But I will say this is one of the Marvel sequels that really didn't.
They didn't need it. At least not this story.
at least not this story, but it just didn't meet expectations. Like I said, it's not totally awful. It's not an awful film. Like, we're not talking about Suicide Squad or Batman versus Superman. Like, but Guardians 2, it's enjoyable, but it's like Iron Man 2 and Thor: The Dark World in a sense that I have no desire to watch this film ever again. The first film is much better.
Yeah.
I can watch the first film repeatedly because the first film is so cool, but Guardians 2, I felt like it was largely, for the most part, a disappointment. It did have some positive elements to it, but I felt like it could have been a lot more than what we ended up getting.
Okay. Well, agree or disagree? Let us know. Email the show, codexprimepodcast@gmail.com, as well, or anyway in social media.
Yep.
So we don't have any emails this week, so on to our question of the week. Last week's was, what was the longest amount of time you have spent binge gaming? And we actually got a good amount of replies to us on our Instagram.
Okay.
Rick the Don 84 says, back in the PS1 days, 28 hours on Xenogears in one sitting.
God damn. What?
I don't know how that's possible, but he did it. He did it. Big ups to him.
Bruh.
Our resident Marvel hater, who's probably gonna have a field day watching or listening to this episode. I had to have been Final Fantasy VII, always trying to level up to defeat Sephiroth and the weapons. All right. My cousin Isaac BT says 20 hours straight of Fallout New Vegas. Huge supporter of the show. Close to 13 hours on Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and 2, and also 8 hours straight on Gears of War 2. I used to break night a lot and ditch friends.
As you do.
These guys went in. And at least 5544 says 12 hours on Tomb Raider.
Damn.
Y'all went in.
Oof,
Y'all went in.
That's some serious binge gaming for sure.
Y'all went in. So this week's, excuse me, what was your favorite video game soundtrack?
Oh, that's a good one. There's so many.
There are. I can't even name just one.
Can I name more than just one?
Go ahead, because I plan on naming more than one.
All right. Some great video game soundtracks. I love the Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time.
Okay.
Max Payne 3.
All right.
Uncharted 3. Drake's Deception. Kind of inspired by Lawrence of Arabia. That's why I like it.
Oh, okay.
Bloodborne. The soundtrack is incredible. If you want to go back to the more classic era, Streets of Rage 2.
You took one of mine, you jerk.
Hey, I mean, it wouldn't be a list without that.
That's true.
What else? Man, there's definitely a whole bunch that I really gotta think about. I'll think about this a little more. Final Fantasy X.
Oh,
gotta say Final Fantasy X.
I would have to say Streets of Rage 2, NBA Street Volume 2. There was another one I had in mind. Oh, Def Jam Fight for New York, Def Jam Vendetta. This is the hip hop guy in me, the hip hop geek in me talking. Yep. I would probably have to say there was one more that was literally on the tip of my tongue, and I hate when I have these brain farts. NBA Street Volume 3 was okay. It was okay. It wasn't one of my favorites. It wasn't as good as Volume 2, but it was okay. Madden 2005 was also a very good one. Yeah, there was a lot of good ones. But yeah, let us know. That will be on our social medias probably within a day or two. So yeah, let us know. Tweet us at Codex Primecast. Email us at codexprimepodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram, Codex Prime Podcast. Facebook, Codex Prime?
Yeah.
Facebook.com/Codex Prime.
Yeah.
I have to say the whole thing just to get it all right. Let us know. Give us a 5-star review as well. We can definitely use those to help us move up the ranks.
Yes, indeed. And you can also find all our episodes on SoundCloud, YouTube, Google Play, and iTunes.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, we're pretty much everywhere. Just Google Codex Prime, you'll see us.
We're there.
Yeah. So once again, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Give us that 5-star review. Tell a friend about our show.
Like, listen, subscribe, share, do it all.
Yeah, all that stuff.
And we thank you for supporting us and riding with us all this time. So
yes,
greatly appreciate it.
Yes, much appreciated. So once again, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Peace out, nerds.
Later.